the precarity of my phone right now. Okay, I hope it's not going to fall and destroy the video and everything. Hi, this is going to be a very big book haul. My birthday was August 13th and I got a big book gift, and I also got myself a bunch of thrifted books, so I just want to show you all of those. I didn't get all of these in the month of August. I got some of them in July, but I haven't shown them anywhere, and I just want to talk about all of my new acquired books that I am incredibly excited to read through autumn. Okay, so Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit. Everything is falling down. Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit by Jeanette Winterson. I have only read one book, Written on the Body by Jeanette Winterson. This is a sapphic coming-of-age story. I really like Jeanette Winterson's writing style, and I think it's going to be beautiful. Also follow her on Twitter. She posts about her garden. Where am I going to put these so that I can move on to the next? Okay, Ragtime by E.L. Doctorow. This is a story about the 1920s. That's all I know about it, and that I wanted to read something from this author for a very long time. I thought at a thrift shop, and I thought, yeah. Next, The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison. Sorry. I was looking for standalone fantasy books that do not continue into a sprawling series, because I cannot commit to anything like that at the moment. And this one came highly recommended from a few sources, so I'm going to read it, and I'm excited about it. It's about a Goblin Emperor. Yeah. And I think it's also adult fantasy. I don't think it's young adult, which is great. The Hog Father by Terry Pratchett. This is number 4 in the Death Cycle, which is idiotic of me, but this was the only Terry Pratchett they had at the shop, and I wanted it. I have Mort, book number 1 in this series. I borrowed it in Ukrainian, so I'm going to read that one, then I'm going to read 2 more, and then I can read this one. This is about the Terry Pratchett equivalent of Santa Claus. Here he is. His name is the Hog Father, and apparently it's hilarious, like everything Terry Pratchett has wrote, and genius. Okay, I'm going to pronounce the name of this author so wrong. It's Suvangham Themawangsa, and the book is How to Pronounce Knife. This is a collection of short stories, and it's pretty short. I thought it was going to be longer for some reason, but it's 178 pages long, so very conducive to a readathon. I need to look if there are any readathons in September so I can vlog it. I finally got Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, and I have never actually seen this cover before. It's a cassette tape. Yeah, I kind of like it. It's a very sad blue. No, it doesn't match. This is a story about childhood friends from their time in like kindergarten, elementary school, I think, throughout their teenage years, and apparently it's going to make me cry. I only read The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro, and I really enjoyed it. I really like Japanese literature, and this man is not only Japanese, he's also English, which makes it all the more interesting. The next one is The Illumination of Ursula Flight. This is a book about a woman in, I want to say, the 17th century, who was born on the night of some comet flying by, and which was a sign of something. She wants to be a playwright, but she needs to fulfill her duty to the family and get married and, you know, do the traditional thing. And this is about her trying to overcome that and trying to become a playwright, and I hope that it's not going to be aggressively anti traditional woman's role, because sometimes it's done heavy-handedly in books, but this sounded really interesting because it's about a writer, and I also like the cover. So I hope, sorry, it's by Anna Marie Crowhurst. I hope this is going to be interesting. Also sounds like a good autumn read. God, Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. This is Stacey Halls' last book. I read The Familiars last year, and it was beautiful. Beautiful historical fiction, beautiful writing, really well researched. There's another one, The Foundling, that I cannot get my hands on, and it's described as a historical horror thriller or something like that. So I think it's going to be Something's Not Right Here in the House with the Family. That sounds like a great end of September or beginning of October Halloweeny read. And I just cannot wait to make some hot cocoa, get in a blankie, and read it. The next one is The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. Please look at this cover and tell me that it's not the most beautiful haunting thing you've ever seen. I don't know what it's about. I just know that it's horror and mystery. And T. Kingfisher also wrote What Moves the Dead, which is part of Books and Lala's book club pick this month. And I really wanted to read it because it's based on The Fall of the House of Usher, and I am obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe. I have been since I was like 14, and I just really wanted to read that book, but I couldn't get my hands on it. So I might try to do that for October as well. But this seems like a great fall read as well. Something spooky. I got Heroes by Stephen Fry. This is book 2 in his Greek myths and stories retelling. The first one is Mythos. It's over there. Look at this. I like this. And this one is about the heroes. You know, the Heracles, Theseus, and the rest of them. His writing is such that when I read it, I do not want for the book to end. And this book, just having it, just warms my soul. I know it's going to be a great comfort read for me, and I'm going to enjoy it, and it's going to be glorious. Okay, next one. The Haunting of Evelyn Jones by Phil either Hicks or Hickeys or Hikes. I'm sorry, I do not know. For some reason I want to pronounce his surname, which seems pretty easy 3 different ways. This is a middle grade mystery horror novel about this girl, Evelyn Jones. All I know that it's about a haunting and ghosts, and she investigates things, and this is the first in a trilogy, and I'm obsessed with this cover. Look at this cover art. I cannot tell you who the cover artist is. I think it's Ruth Robinson. There's a sticker on the back, so I cannot see, but I'm going to find out and put the link in the description so you can see all the other illustrations of this author, because I think this is beautiful. And isn't it just the autumnest book you've ever seen? It's gonna be so good. I just know it. Okay, How to Be a Heroine by Samantha Ellis. This is a non-fiction book about a woman who really liked classic Victorian and Edwardian literature. She likes the Brontes, she likes Jane Austen, she likes Margaret Atwood. I know that she's not Victorian or Edwardian, but you know what I mean. And Sylvia Plath, there's a bunch of her favorite books here. And it's about her taking inspiration from these books and the main heroines of these books for her life, and trying to romanticize her life and make herself the main character of her own story. And I think that's fascinating, and also something that I think I might read. Next one is Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood. This is about a toxic female friendship. And I also have never seen this cover before. This was a thrifted book as well. And whenever I buy thrifted books, I often get the weirdest covers. Like, I've never seen them anywhere before. And they seem to be often out of print. Also, this book, I bought it off of somebody online for like $1. And when they sent it to me, they put in a bookmark and a little pamphlet about Jehovah's Witnesses, I think. So that was a nice little surprise. I mean, you know. Okay. The Lady and the Unicorn by Tracy Chevalier. I read The Girl with the Pearl Earring, and it's so good. One of my favorite books. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love Vermeer, and I know that that book is pure fiction. I understand that. But I also think that that is a beautiful reimagining of that story. And just it's written so well and researched so well. It's like you are there. And everything that happens, even when she's just chopping vegetables in the kitchen, it's evocative. So this is about a weaver, a woman who makes tapestries, and there's something important about the tapestry she's making. I cannot remember. I think there's might be something mystical, paranormal here, slightly, but I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it. I have this superpower. I read the synopsis of a book and then I immediately forget it. Like I can kind of remember some keywords, and I remember that I want to read it, but then everything else, no. So that's kind of cool because when I start to read a book, I sort of know what it is, but I can enjoy it more because there's not too much information and too many details in my head preventing me from fully enjoying it. Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. This was thrifted as well. It's pretty short. I already read this. I just wanted a physical copy because I listened to the audiobook a couple years ago and it was so good. It was pretty scary, and it's mystical, but in a way that it's written. It's about a girl whose father is obsessed with ancient Scots and archaeology, and he takes her and her family on these camping trips every year where they live in the woods and try to recreate the way the old Scots lived, with a bunch of other archaeologists and stuff like that. And one day they want to perform a sacrifice and use her in the sacrifice. They're not going to like actually kill her, but they are reenacting it. But it is still harrowing, and it so beautifully written, just so good. I have another book by her on my TBR, and I think I'm gonna read it in autumn as well. Then I have, oh god, don't fall. Then I have 5 Ray Bradbury books, all thrifted. Look at how yellow they are. They are very old. The Golden Apples of the Sun short story collection. The Machineries of Joy short story collection. Long After Midnight short story collection. The Halloween Tree, not a short story collection. I Sing the Body Electric short story collection. The Halloween Tree. This is for October. I'm obsessed. I want to read it so badly right now. But I know I should read for autumn when I'm doing Inktober and just look at the art. I love Ray Bradbury so much. He was one of the first writers that I got really obsessed with during my teenage years, and I read a lot of his short stories and a couple novels as well. The ones that everybody read, The Martian Chronicles, The Fahrenheit 451. But I read a lot of his short stories, but I haven't read the actual collections that he himself put together. I read, when I was a little girl, I grew up with my grandparents, and we had books that were translated into Russian in the Soviet Union. So I only had access to those books. I couldn't buy any or borrow any from the library. I only had access to the library that my grandfather had. And we had... the Soviet translations were very good. Like I know now because I read the original texts and I read the translations. So I can compare and I can tell you that they were really good. But for some reason, they never printed like I Sing the Body Electric, the full short story collection. They took stories from here, they took stories from some other collection, and they compiled them and they called it like Ray Bradbury, like the best, or the Ray Bradbury collection or something. So I read a bunch of disjointed short stories that were never in a collection that he himself put them in. Like I read a bunch of stories from the Illustrated Man, but they were put in some other collection that had nothing to do with that. So it made no sense. And when I saw these books at the thrift shop, I jumped at them because I wanted them for such a long time. Oh, Dandelion Wine is another one I read. I read a lot of them basically, and I'm so happy that I have them. The only problem with them is that the Halloween Tree, it's pretty short, and it has script of a normal size. But these short story collection, because they're like mass market paperback, they have this teeny tiny little script that is going to hurt my eyes so fucking badly. But, I mean, you know, you gotta suffer to enjoy yourself, I guess. I don't know, that doesn't make any sense, but that's what's gonna happen. Okay, another one. Another thrifted one. Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. You know, there are these books that everybody on BookTube and like Bookstagram and book community read when they first came out, and people were obsessed with them and they were everywhere. And if they went past you, if you read them, nobody's interested in your opinion on them or that you're even reading them, and it's called like the backlist. That annoys me so much. Like, it's a book, okay? Whenever it came out, it still has the same validity and importance as a story as when it came out first. So this is about a book who I think is battling with depression and mental illness, and I need it in my life. I want to read it, and it's apparently sad and heartbreaking. Okay, my phone is gonna die soon. I hope it doesn't die on me while I film. Cersei by Madeline Miller. I started this book on Scribd when I had a subscription, and it was so good. I read the Song of Achilles, and but I was enjoying this so much, and I really wanted a physical copy so I could sit and read it. And here it is. So I'm going to read it soon. The next one, come here. Oh, it's a chunker. The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This is book 2 in the Name of the Wind trilogy. I have the Name of the Wind. It's not here, but I have it. And I haven't read that one yet, so imagine how fun it's going to be if I read that one and I don't like it, and I have this one. But I just know that I'm going to love it. I want so much more fantasy than I'm reading right now, and I know that this is unusual fantasy and really good fantasy. And Patrick Rothfuss is very meticulous about his writing. He's been writing third book for years and like editing it for years already. So maybe someday it's gonna come out and we can all read it together. Okay, I promise you 3 more left. Automatic Eve by Rokuro Inui. It's Japanese, and it is about a dystopia with like human like androids, I think. Again, I read the synopsis and I forgot. The political chess game between the shogunate and the empress has a new piece. A self-aware, autonomous entity named Eve. Okay, that sounds excellent. I mean, I chose it, so I'm obviously interested in it. And I don't like the script. It's hard to read. Benny Kirschenbaum, that's the name of the author. Rabbits for Food. I love this drawing. They put it on everything. This is about a woman who gets into a mental hospital, but she's not supposed to be there. And this is her writing about the people that she's there with. And the last one is Volume 1 of Lucifer, the graphic novel. Look, I know that this is part of the Sandman cycle, and no, I have not read the Sandman, and no, I don't have it. But I love Neil Gaiman so much, and I liked Lucifer. Like, I know that the TV show has nothing to do with the graphic novel series, and I only watched a couple of seasons of it, and then I got bored. Also, I know that Constantine's supposed to appear somewhere here, and I'm obsessed with Constantine. So I'm probably going to try to read Sandman on Scribd, or find thrifted copies somewhere. But graphic novels are so expensive, and there's like 10 volumes, and each one of them costs like a full-length book. So this might be a while before I read it, but I really want to read it in October. This would be a great October read. Also, I don't know how many volumes there are. I mean, like, what if there are 20? It's gonna be fun. Okay, so these are all of my books that I got lately. I hope you enjoyed watching this mess. Please tell me if you read any of the books that I showed you and what you think of them, and if you think I'm gonna like them, and if you have any of them on your TBR, because if you do, we can buddy read them. That would be fun, right? Okay, so thank you for watching this. The war is still going on. We don't know when it's gonna end. I should make an update video about that. Thank you for watching. Slava Ukraini!